Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am your host, Josh Davis, also known as Crash. Today is Thursday, September 26th, 2024, and we are here to talk about Week 4 in the NFL. Doug and I are representing our respective teams. We are Packers and Vikings fans. I'm a Packers fan. He's a Viking fan. So, Doug, I'm sure you're looking forward to this week and, of course, the big matchup with the Packers and Vikings. So, how are you doing on this Thursday night?
Getting over a cold, so I'm kind of happy I'm getting rid of it finally.
Getting over a cold? Oh, no. Okay.
Well, me too. I'm good.
How's the weather up there, by the way?
79 degrees outside right now.
It might be warmer there than it is here. I think it's around there, if not cooler. 75 here. So yeah.
The sun goes down, it'll drop.
Yeah, because October's right around the corner, and you guys usually get your first snow, I think, around October. So
some days, a bunch of. We had more snow last year in October, November than we did in December.
Oh wow, yeah, I remember that because I have family that lives in western Wisconsin, and they were telling me about that. If you're new to the channel, if you would give us a like and then hit the subscribe button. After you've done those two things, if you would hit the alarm bell, that will let you know when our newest podcast has gone live. If you're new to DFS Coach Talk and you would like to be a part of our Discord, we have a very positive, family-friendly, very encouraging environment in our Discord. So we would love to have you join us. And if you are new, if this is your first time watching us or you're not a member yet with our Discord, we will be giving away a week's membership during this podcast. So hopefully we'll have some new viewers tonight. And outside of that, our weekly membership, it costs a little less. It's a little less than a cup of Starbucks. Basically, it's $4.99 for a week's membership in our Discord. So we'd love to have you join us. Let's go ahead and look at the chat real quick. Do we have anyone in the chat? I don't see anybody. We'll keep it rolling, and we'll go right into our game-by-game breakdown. Starting tonight, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, the Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Giants. Looks like they have the inactives out now, so I'm looking to see no big names. Adoree Jackson looks like he's out for the Giants, I mean. And, yeah, no major inactives from what I can tell, so – the Cowboys are a 5-point favorite on the road, minus 245 on the money line, 45 over under. So pretty decent over under there. 46% chance of rain, 73 degrees with the wind blowing southwest at 6 miles an hour. Anything extra you want to add on this game before we go over to Sunday, Doug?
Debo and will be balling out tonight.
Who's that?
Debo balling out tonight.
Debo?
I'm sorry, Debo. Well, Lamb. CJ Lamb, sorry.
Lamb, yeah.
Lamb's having a good game tonight. There's no one to cover him.
Yeah, I think Lamb and Neighbors are going to have a good game tonight, but we'll see.
Dallas is kind of done well against receivers this year so far.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see how that turns out. I know they can't stop the run, but the Giants don't have the best running game. So, we'll move over to Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern with the New Orleans Saints taking on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Falcons are a 2.5-point favorite at home, minus 135 on the money line, over under a 42 indoors in the dome, so there's no weather. We have the 0-3. Who would have thought? 0-3 Cincinnati against Carolina. 4.5-point favorite Cincinnati is on the road, minus 220 on the money line, 47 over under, 77 degrees with the wind blowing southwest at 7 miles an hour. And we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Chicago Bears. For the Bears, both Odunze and Keenan Allen are questionable. I think they were last week too. I know Keenan Allen was out and Odunze ended up playing, had a pretty nice game. But we'll have to see if Keenan Allen's going to be out again or not, if he's going to play. Bears are a 3-point favorite at home, minus 160 on the money line with a 41 over under. 68 degrees with the wind blowing northeast at 15 miles an hour. I did notice on ESPN the pick'em, the pigskin pick'em. It looks like about 73, I think, percent of people are picking the Rams in this game. So even though the Vegas line has them favored by 3, the Bears, seems like the public seems to be on the Rams. So any thoughts on that?
Oh, that's interesting. I think the Rams the Rams will outcoach the Bears. That's
True.
28 out of 30 teams outcoach the Bears. No offense to Bears fans, but they
still have the better quarterback, at least at this point in their career, and obviously the better running game. I mean, Kyren Williams, he was the main focus of their offense, and DeAndre Swift is not doing anything. So that's looking like a wasted free agency move by the Bears so far.
We'll get back to this game later.
Yeah, we'll come back to this game later.
I got a player on this one later.
So our game, the Vikings and the Packers, 2.5 point favorite for Green Bay, minus 145 on the money line, 43.5 over under, 70 degrees with the wind blowing northeast at 10 miles an hour. Before you give me your take, I will say, if you noticed on the cover, I had Aaron Jones and Xavier McKinney. To me, whichever of those two has the biggest impact on this game, I think that team's going to win the game. But that's just my opinion.
Wow. Here's some inside information. I never have any in these games, do I? But the Vikings. No, I do. Is that I have heard in the locker rooms, the players.
You were in the locker room? That's impressive, though.
No. I'm rich, but I do have people I know that are in there. And both the Vikings and Green Bay. And both things I'm hearing are that the defenses, the Packers want to stop Jones.
Okay.
They want to stop Jones. And Jones is taking this game completely personal.
Yeah.
And Jones should.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no reason Green Bay should have let him go. He was great in the locker room. The players loved him, but they don't want him to show, they don't want Jones to beat him.
Yeah.
Because they understood what they lost.
Mm-hmm.
They did. And so it's going to be a very intense, emotional game. And then afterwards, will probably hug afterwards. So
and I think so too. I mean, that's just like when Favre came to, and I'll say this. I don't think, I mean, there's always some idiots in the crowd or whatever that'll boo, but I don't think it's going to be anything like Brett Favre when he came back to Green Bay. I don't expect the majority of the people to boo him. I mean, I don't see that happening at all. People love Aaron Jones. I mean, a lot of people were upset that he left, but that's just part of the business, from that standpoint. With him going to Minnesota, he went where he had an opportunity, and I don't have any, ill feelings or anything towards Aaron Jones whatsoever. I actually sent him a message. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever read it, but I sent him a message on Twitter or Facebook, one of the two, I can't remember. But yeah, I sent him a little personal message thanking him for his time with Green Bay and just, he's such an awesome guy. I don't know if you saw the letter. Did you see the letter he wrote? He wrote a letter to the Packers fans.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's top.
He won't have a G on his helmet, but he'll always have one in his heart. I mean, that's just the kind of guy he is. So
and he, like I said, he did a lot for the community.
Yeah,
and I think schematically, Green Bay should try to stop Jones.
Yeah, they definitely should. I mean, that's definitely going to be key because, I mean, I know Sam Darnold's having a great season and everything, but Green Bay's secondary is pretty good, especially with Xavier McKinney back there now. It seems like anything that gets thrown deep, that gets overthrown, he's picking it off. So that's where I think if Green Bay is going to have an advantage in this game, it's going to have to be a turnover. But we still don't even know if Jordan Love's going to play. So if Jordan Love doesn't play, I could see Minnesota win this game pretty comfortably. But if he does play, I think it's going to be one of those last possession games. So
more Here's some insight I in my thoughts. Okay. Kenny Clark, can he get pressure up the middle? Because Rashard Gary will be handled.
Well, Garrett Bradbury has really struggled with Kenny Clark over the years. So
Yep.
that's
But you got Ingram and guard now, and their guards have gotten better. So
yeah, who's the guy? Brettel, or is it Brettel or something like that? The guy in the middle? Brendel. Yeah.
And he's the one
he's
that
playing really well.
And if Kenny Clark thinks he can do good rushing, is he going to do good pass rushing, or is he going to do run blocking? The problem is when you have a nose tackle, and it's what's the temperature going to be outside again?
It's going to be about 74.
Sunny.
Yeah, about 74.
That's a lot of heat for a nose tackle holding up the whole game.
Well, I mean, the game against India, it was like 85, so this is better than that at least. And the game Sunday was actually like 90 in Tennessee, so it was hot. I mean, it's not that hot to me living in Arkansas, but to Tennessee or to Green Bay players in Tennessee, I know that was very hot. So 70 degrees or 74, whatever it's going to be, that's going to be nice. Devontae Wyatt is actually leading the team in sacks right now, so that's been pretty surprising. He has 3 sacks already. He's a defensive tackle too. He's right next to Clark. So
and he's got some flash to him. Got a little quickness for a step, and I'll help him. I'll get rid of
so he'll probably be going against Brendel then.
Good luck. I think Brendel will be fine against somebody. He might go the other side.
It'll be a good matchup.
But I think we won in the trenches, and whoever ball control is going to be huge in this game.
Yeah.
Everybody's thinking this is going to be an air versus ground or whatever. It's ground and pound. It's on the grass. Advantage Green Bay there.
Yeah, I could see this being the over-under is 43 and a half. I think 23-20 is probably a high scoring. Like I could see this being like a 17-14 type game. Like I could see it being pretty low scoring.
And also for me, a Vikings fan is everybody should know by now. Is that I think I would love for Love to start the game.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about the dual running threat quarterback.
Well, yeah, and I can see that because Love is going to be rusty. I mean, I get that, but if Love was 100%, I mean, I don't think you'd feel the same way.
I would actually.
I don't know, man.
I would. Because Love's going up against the Viking defense for the first time this year. 7 different personnel. And I think by the time he would adjust, the game would be out of hand. Unless LaFleur was to be smart and run the ball.
Well,
LaFleur adjusts.
LaFleur is always
very well.
He's very smart. He's a very smart game plan. I mean, so is Kevin O'Connell and so is Brian Flores. So
we've got elite coaches going up.
There's elite coaches for sure. And Jeff Hapley looks like he's going to be pretty strong too. So
agree.
It's only been 3 games, but we'll see. Yeah. So Addison, he is going to play, right? I think that's right.
Leaning towards yes. Yeah, I was practicing today.
Okay. And then
I don't know if they announced that.
Reed was limited today, but I'm pretty sure he's going to play. He played last week, and he's only gotten more healthy since last week. So he was limited, though. And then, of course, Jordan Love is limited. Yesterday, if you would have asked me, I would have said for sure Love's going to play. Today, I'm limited. 70%. Like yesterday, I was almost 100. Today, I'm about 70. So I don't know. I have a feeling Malik Willis might end up playing again. I don't know. I just have that feeling.
He's played really well.
He has played really well.
LaFleur has done incredible.
It may give the Packers an advantage to have that dual running threat like that. I mean, Love can run too, but he's not going to run like that well, period. But he's also not going to run that much at all with his injury. So I can see why you would say that about Willis. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and move on. Jacksonville against Houston. Looks like you guys banged up Houston pretty well. Questionable is Nico Collins and Tank Dell. For the Jaguars, Gabe Davis and Evan Ingram are questionable. The Texans are a 6-point favorite at home, minus 265. And on the money line, a 45.5 over under. They're indoors. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Steelers are a 1.5-point favorite on the road, minus 125 on the money line. As you might expect, a low over under of 40. Then we have the Broncos in New York taking on the Jets. The Jets are a 7.5-point favorite. That's probably the heaviest on the slate. No, San Francisco is actually. 7.5-point favorite, Jets minus 360 on the money line, 39.5 over under. That's probably the lowest on the slate. 67 degrees, wind blowing east northeast at 10 miles an hour. We have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are both questionable, but then Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are both questionable too. So
yeah, I think both receivers will be out for Philadelphia. 90% confident.
So you think both Brown and Smith will be out?
Yeah, Smith hasn't through today. Hasn't gone through any concussion protocol.
So do you like? Because I don't like Jahan Dotson. He hasn't done anything yet. Do you like him or do you like Covey?
Covey.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking too. So I guess McMillan would be in play for Tampa if one of those two are out. It's Philly's a minus 1.5-point favorite on the road, minus 130 on the money line, 43 over under, 38% chance of rain, 87 degrees with the wind blowing southwest at 6 miles an hour. Then we move to the 405 slate. The Washington Commanders taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride are questionable. Trey McBride got beat up pretty bad. I'd be surprised if he plays this week. Arizona's a 3.5-point favorite at home, minus 180 on the money line, 50.5 over under indoors, so there's no weather. The Patriots are in San Francisco. Deebo Samuel is doubtful, and George Kittle is questionable. Hunter Henry is questionable for New England. The 49ers are a 10.5-point favorite at home, minus 590 on the money line, 40.5 over under. 76 degrees with the wind blowing west-northwest at 5 miles an hour. Move to 425. Cleveland taking on the Raiders in Vegas. Jerome Ford is questionable. So is David Njoku. I saw he did practice in a limited capacity today. Devontae Adams is questionable. The Raiders are minus 2, favorite at home, minus 130 on the money line, 37 over under. That's super low. Indoors, so there's no weather. Then we have the Chiefs taking on the Chargers in LA. The Chiefs are a 7-point favorite on the road, minus 360 on the money line with a 40 over under. Justin Herbert is questionable for the Chargers. Obviously, big injury news there. We'll have to keep an eye on. Then we have the Sunday night game, the Buffalo Bills taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are a 2.5-point favorite at home, minus 135 on the money line, 46.5 over under. 56% chance of rain. We'll have to keep an eye on that. 68 degrees with the wind blowing east-northeast at 10 miles an hour. Then we have another, I don't know what the NFL is doing, but we have another Monday night doubleheader. So, and one of the games is probably going to be pretty terrible. The Titans against the Dolphins. Skylar Thompson's questionable. Miami doesn't know who their quarterback's going to be at this point. Miami's a 1-point favorite at home, minus 120 on the money line. 36.5 over under, lowest of the week, and 29% chance of rain, 85 degrees with the wind blowing east-southeast. Then we have the Seahawks against the Lions. This should be a really good game, I think. Kenneth Walker is questionable for Seattle. Sam Laporta is questionable for Detroit. Lions are a 3.5-point favorite at home, minus 190 on the money line, with a 46.5 over under. Let me take a look at the chat. I don't see any questions. Let me go to our top plays. We'll start at quarterback. CJ Stroud is going to be my top quarterback for pay-up option. He's $7,000 on DraftKings, $7,800 on Fanduel, $27 on Yahoo. as you know, you guys made him have one of the worst games of his career in Minnesota last week. He's back up against back at home against Jacksonville. They are really struggling. They got absolutely destroyed against Buffalo on Monday night. Jacksonville's allowed the second most fantasy points to quarterbacks this year. Josh Allen had a huge game against them. He had 263 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions for 30.9 DraftKings points. So CJ Stroud is going to be my top pay-up option, backup, about bounce back game, I should say. And there are several options I like on this slate, though. But I landed on CJ Stroud. Do you like CJ Stroud, or who did you find as your top pay-up quarterback?
CJ's not my top option. A little worried. I don't think first team no.
You think what?
But I will doubt they know. Jacksonville looks so bad. We not need to pass it. 1, 2, 3. 2 or 3 touchdowns might be limited to 3.
Yeah. So if Mixon plays, you might just give him the ball 30 times again.
Akers.
Yeah. Well, I thought Mixon might play, though. Is he not going to play?
Oh, he's still questionable.
Okay.
Well, he's going to be a fun decision.
If he plays, then they'll probably give him, like I said, like 30 carries or whatever. But if Akers and Ogunbowale are carrying the ball, it's going to probably be like a 15 or a 17-13 or something split like that, I would think.
What's the thoughts on running and injured running? You get it.
Yeah, you're right. They probably won't run him that much. You're probably right on that. Yeah, that's a good point. So who did you say your top quarterback was? Who did you say your top quarterback would be then?
Oh boy, I got a couple. Jaden Daniels.
You're fading who?
Jaden Daniels.
Oh, Jaden Daniels. I thought you said I'm fading somebody. Okay, Jaden Daniels. Okay, yeah, I can see that against Arizona. Yeah, he was really impressive against Cincinnati for sure.
I really don't know if I have much of my biggest fade would be whoever's going to be the chalkiest quarterback besides Jaden.
Yeah.
And Kyle Murray. I like those two a lot.
Yeah, Murray's a little expensive, but he is in a good spot.
Yeah, it's really. I'll look at Fanduel. Really, Burrow worries me a little bit, but then again, good.
Yeah.
Well, it's just no. The one guy that did worry me, but as far as the talkie guys, okay, I'll fade any one quarterback and be Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Okay, yeah,
that'd be it.
Yeah, if he's going to be without Brown and Smith, I mean that's going to be pretty tough. Now Goddard would actually be a really good play, I think.
And then, yeah, I like Goddard.
Yeah.
And then I don't like Carr.
Carr.
Yep, and Richardson. Up against Pittsburgh, no one right.
Yeah, it's for some reason I'm having a hard time hearing you, Doug. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I'm getting a call again. No, the other one is Anthony Richardson.
Oh, Anthony
going up against the number one pass defense in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, I would definitely fade him. So for value, I don't know if you had anyone you liked for value, but I like Andy Dalton. On DraftKings, he's only 5,300. That's really cheap. I mean, if he doesn't have to give us 27 like he did last week, but if we can get even like 17, 18 fantasy points at 5,300, I'm good with that. And Cincinnati,
the world we live in.
they got torched. They got torched by Washington. So, I mean, I think Andy Dalton can get. I think he can get 17 to 18. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So, if he gets over 20, I'll be thrilled. But his price is just too cheap to me. It's a revenge game too, so I know he'll have that on his mind. Then we have running backs. Kyron Williams, 7,300 on DraftKings, 8,100 on Fanduel, $30 on Yahoo. Last week we saw with Williams, he got the season high 24 carries. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 1 in the air. 31.6 DraftKings points going up against Chicago. They have allowed the 9th most fantasy points to running backs this year. So I do like Kyron Williams as my top pay-up option at running back. Now on FanDuel, they have the Sunday night game. So I do like Derrick Henry as a pay-up running back on FanDuel. But you only get to use him on FanDuel for the Sunday slate.
I like running back to go off against Dallas.
Yeah. So you like Singletary tonight?
You know, he one of the few I do.
I mean, I don't think he's the worst play in the world. That's for sure.
Oh gosh.
Let's move on to wide receiver. Wait, did you say which running back you liked? I don't even know if you did. I'm sorry.
No, but I also like Williams, Rams.
Kyron Williams.
Williams for the Rams.
Yeah, that's what I like too.
Yep.
Then we'll go to receiver. Like I said before, I like CJ Stroud, so I like pairing him up with Nico Collins if he plays. If he doesn't play, then you can use Stephon Diggs if he plays. Whichever one of them plays, then you can use if one of the other is out. But Collins has been the top guy so far for CJ Stroud. He's been targeted 28 times. He had 10 catches on 12 targets last week against Minnesota. Jacksonville's allowed the 8th most fantasy points to wide receivers this year. And last year, Collins, the last time he faced them, last time he faced Jacksonville, he had 7 catches on 9 targets for 104 yards and a touchdown for 26.4 DraftKings points. So I do like Collins as a pay-up option. And then my value, believe it or not, is Jordan Addison. 5,100 on DraftKings, 5,800 on FanDuel, $20 on Yahoo. Had a pretty solid game the last time they played at Lambeau. 7 catches on 8 targets for 82 yards and a touchdown for 21.4 DraftKings points. He did that little sneaky play where they ran him out of the backfield, caught Jair off guard. That was pretty funny. But I think Addison's a good value because of his price.
Yeah, not that cheap. I just looked over players that.
I mean, especially if they double, if they double Jefferson, like put Jair on him and have safety over the top with McKinney, that should open up a lot of opportunities against Derek Stokes. So
they actually are triple teaming him up for the place.
Triple teaming?
Yeah, because they had Coral or who's their outside linebacker as cover one. He's second or third.
Oh, they had. Did they use? I don't know if did Campbell play that game?
Not Campbell. No.
Not Campbell. Okay. I
mean,
I wouldn't say he's great at it, but he is our fastest inside linebacker. Would be
outside.
You said outside?
Did
they use Rashawn Gary?
Oh no.
Because
but what they do is they're.
Well, knowing Joe Barry, it might have been Preston Smith. Because
so they're fading them back and that, and so they're covered helping the inside route.
Joe Barry's
and then outside inside here, then you had safety cover. It was smart
playing Preston Smith. I'm glad Joe Barry Joe Barry had his games where he coached well or whatever, they had good performances by the defense, but he had some of those games you're just scratching your head. It's like, what is he doing? He's got Preston Smith covering Justin Jefferson. It just doesn't make any sense. So
No, it wasn't cover number one. It was like,
yeah.
basically like a zone coverage is what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Emphasis on anyway.
But we could have used so many other guys besides Preston Smith to try and keep up with Justin Jefferson.
It wasn't him. Out the name will come eventually. But it's okay. But and then we were lost. But I wanted to mention a couple things real quick. Roshan Johnson.
Yes.
He for
Chicago,
the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I do like him as a a GCP play.
Yeah.
He had 30%, 7% of the snaps. He had 12 touches for 64 yards.
Yeah, he's pretty popular. He's pretty popular in the waiver wire this week in season-long fantasy, so I would expect him to get a little bit of ownership just because of that. Yeah, but I don't think from a DFS standpoint he's going to be that high owned. I have to check his price though, because if he is super low price, then he might be higher owned. But I mean, Swift just hasn't been doing it, so they're going to have to look at something else because they got to be more balanced. They can't keep throwing. What did Caleb throw 52 times against the Colts? I mean, it's insane.
Yeah,
keep doing that. So, then we have
my pay-up option at receiver would be Evans or Goddard. I like either one of them. It's a pay up, but if you're gonna pay all the way up, I would go to Michael Chase for paying out. Exactly.
You say for wide receiver?
Yeah, for receiver, I would pay up all the way to Chase, but I'll pay up for anybody.
Oh, okay, Chase. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I like that call. All right, let's go to tight end because we got to get our lineups out here in about 10 minutes. Yep. So we got to get this wrapped up pretty quick. I mean, if Travis Kelce doesn't have a good game this week, then he may not have a good game the rest of the year. I mean, this is the matchup where he always seems to just go off. So he's only 5,800 on DraftKings. That's super cheap. You'll probably never see him that cheap for the rest of the year if he does what I think he's going to do anyway. But his last 5 games, he's averaged 30.4 DraftKings points against the Chargers.
Chargers, what, 31st against tight ends? 30th?
Yeah. His last 2 games, he had 38.9. His 2 games against him last year, 38.9 and 38.5 DraftKings points. So he's absolutely lit them up. At some point Mahomes is just going to start feeding him the ball just to get him, keep him active and not get his confidence, defeated and everything. Because he was looking pretty defeated on Sunday night in Atlanta. So Kelce's my pay-up option. For value to go with, you said Jaden Daniels. You like Jaden Daniels. Zach Ertz, I like it tight end for value. Going up against his former team too in Arizona. But he's kind of been the security blanket for Jaden Daniels. And now that Eckler's out, I think he will be even more so. So I like Zach Ertz as my value for tight end.
I actually had him 2 and add Komet and Gesicki for my other 2 tight ends. I like besides Kelce.
Komet and Gesicki?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Komet.
Gesicki is the top tight end.
Yeah. Gesicki's been getting pretty good amount of targets lately, and Komet had a really nice game last week. So I like that call, especially if one of Odunze or Allen, and of course if both are out. But I like that call.
Yeah, if Allen's in, no Komet.
If who is out?
If Allen is in, I would not.
If Allen's in, yeah, because he's that big target if he plays. All right, so defense, Steelers and the Jets to me are pretty obvious. I kind of like the Falcons as a value play, especially on FanDuel. They're only like 30 something hundred. They're pretty cheap. And the Steelers and the Jets have good matchups, so I like them as my other defensive plays. And then, of course, we talked about it. Green Bay and Minnesota should be a pretty low-scoring game, so I think that they're in consideration too, but they're a little bit more pricey. So, which defenses do you like the most this week?
You nailed it. I like Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah, I think they're a good play for sure. All right, so then we'll go to our lock of the week, which I am going to go with Houston over Jacksonville. And my upset of the week, I am taking the Carolina Panthers at +4.5 against Cincinnati. I think Carolina loses in a close game, but I think they cover the 4.5 points.
Oh, well, lock of the week. San Francisco.
Yeah, I like
Minnesota definitely will cover the spread. You're underdog.
And Minnesota +2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've taken Minnesota like every week, so I don't blame you. They've been the underdog and they've covered, so I get it. All right, so then we'll go to our prize picks, then we'll do our two brains, and we'll get out of here. Prize picks, top plays this week. I'm going to go with Aaron Jones, more than 13.5 rushing attempts, like we talked about. They definitely are taking it personal, or he is taking it personal, so I expect him to be heavily involved, and I think he'll run probably 20 or more times, honestly. Kyren Williams, more than 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. He had 3 last week, and I think he definitely gets in at least once this week. Nico Collins, more than 49.5 receiving yards as a goblin play. If you want to go for the full payout, it's 77.5. I like the goblin a lot more, obviously. But I don't think 77.5 is a bad play if Tank Dell or Stephon Diggs are out. But if they're all in, then I would just go with the goblin and keep it safe. Then we have the Caleb Williams free square for the last Sunday of the month. Every Sunday they've had the Caleb Williams free square of more than 0.5 passing yards. So you take that, pair it with the other plays, and should be a pretty good week. All right, let's go ahead, Doug, and go ahead and do our two brain lineup now. You want to go ahead and start with the quarterback?
Yeah, let's move there. Just change it up. Let's do Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I was just about to say I like the Daniels call if you want to go with him. I'll go Kyren Williams, running back. Which, by the way, I have to say, Doug, if people aren't aware and they haven't been playing our two brain lineups, we've been doing pretty well with these. They've cashed, I think, every week.
Yeah.
Hasn't been the payout yet, but I know
Chubba Hubbard.
I know it's coming. Chubba Hubbard.
Yep.
Okay. I'll go ahead and take Ertz, tight end. And I don't mind taking McLaurin either if you like him.
I don't as much.
Pair him up with Jaden. You say you don't like McLaurin as much this week?
McLaurin? No, not quite as much.
Okay.
It depends on pricing. And Fanduel. He's cheap. Like it. Yeah. We'll go with but Baltimore Buffalo games can be fun.
Who'd you say?
No, I'm just looking at the ball.
Oh, Buffalo. Shakir's pretty cheap. I saw that.
Yeah, I was looking at his face. So yeah, I mean that literally cost. Okay. Yeah. No, they're gonna film.
You want to go with Shakir?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. I will take. I like the value or the not value, the pay up that you mentioned. I liked the Jamar Chase call.
Let's get it here.
And if we go ahead and take the Steelers, that'll give us 4,200 or 6,200. I mean, for each remaining spot, the two spots that are left.
Yeah, I'm just looking for it. Sorry. A lot of people are going to go to Johnny Wilson. That's a hard fade.
Johnny Wilson.
So, what do you go?
Oh, Covey's on IR. I didn't know that.
So Deontay.
So Covey's on IR. Did you know that?
Who?
Britton Covey.
Who?
From the Eagles. We were talking about him.
Yeah. Why don't we go Deontay Johnson?
Okay. No, he's questionable, but yeah.
To Carolina.
Okay. And I will take. Oh, you're not going to believe this.
What?
Wait. No, I'm at tight end. Never mind. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I was about to say Rashawn Johnson's not even on here. Yeah, he is. He's 5,500.
That's expensive, right? You talk about revenge games. You got Mark Andrews. He can do better. Yeah, I'll do like George Pickens.
So you're saying you don't want to use 5,500 for Rashawn Johnson?
No, not that's too expensive, right? Me, it is. Indianapolis has a bad secondary.
Yeah. Do you want to use Calvin Austin? He's 4,900.
Oh, how much money we got to work with? 6,200, right?
Yeah, I got 6,200 to work with. You just said Pittsburgh, so I thought of Calvin Austin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Pickens is 61. Okay, Pickens is 6,100. I didn't know that. Okay, so let's put Pickens at wide receiver and Shakir at flex. So,
yeah, works.
So we got Jaden Daniels, Kyron Williams, Chuba Hubbard, Jamar Chase, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Zach Ertz, Khalil Shakir, and Pittsburgh Steelers defense. That's our team.
It's good. And find out how good next week. All right, I'm good. I got that entered.
You good with that? Okay. Good.
Sorry
good
about my
deal.
voice, everybody.
Oh, yeah, you're good, man. I know you've been battling this cold, so we're going to get out of here. We're going to post our lineups for Sunday Night Football if you're one of our members. And if you would like to join us, again, you can hit us up on Twitter or X at DFS Coach Talk. Send us a DM, and we'll be glad to get you in there. Any last words before we get out of here, Doug?
Good luck, everybody. And, don't overlook the Buffalo Raiders Ravens game on Sunday night. Fanduel.
Yeah.
Vikings.
Yeah. You say go Vikings?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, go Pack, go. And just kidding. Not really. But anyway, yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed this show. Let's absolutely crush week 4. And we will look to crush it in NFL, DFS, and Prize Picks. Thanks and have a great night.